Hi, welcome to MIM TV, the official channel for Made in the Midlands. My name is Charles Addison, I'm Director of Made in the Midlands, and I'm joined today by Neil Lloyd, Sales Director for FBCMB Bowdler. And FBC are one of the patrons for Made in the Midlands, specialising in the legal support for our members. Now, welcome Neil.
Thank you.
Obviously, FBC have quite a unique sort of take on manufacturing. Tell us more about the firm.
Well, the firm's been established for about 200 years. It was originally set up in Willenhall. It's now, if you like, the main base is in Wolverhampton. It's got offices in Shrewsbury, Telford, Bridgnorth, and also in Edgbaston. About 200 people, of which about 160 are sort of legally qualified, and offers a full range of legal services, so to private individuals and also to businesses. And on the business side of things, like I say, very heavy concentration of manufacturing businesses just because of its heritage, and offering from employment, contract law, intellectual property, data protection, mergers, acquisitions, you name it, we do it.
And why is the sector important? You obviously Made in the Midlands trying to reach and sort of steer the community towards getting the like-minded people involved, but from our point of view, bringing in professional services is important. So why manufacturing for FBC?
Well, like I say, so it's something that we've always been involved with. I think we recognise the fact that a successful manufacturing sector brings many benefits to the local economy in the Black Country, which in turn helps individuals, which in turn is a great thing for the region. So we all need to support it.
Fantastic. Obviously, the areas of intellectual property we've covered and some of the dispute resolution. What are the key current sort of large challenges facing manufacturing in the Midlands?
So I think you still hear the old adage around skill shortage, and we're trying to do our part in that in where we can in terms of working with schools and educating them about the manufacturing sector as it is today. Our property, so trying to find the right property for the business, especially those ones that are expanding. So our commercial property team do a lot of work in that area, and then just keeping up with all the reams of legislation that keeps coming down the track across various issues. So it's varied.
What's the M&A activity looking like in the region at the moment?
Pretty good, pretty strong. I think you've got the sort of the larger businesses are still looking for the right sort of targets and either merging or acquiring those. But what we're seeing a lot more of what I would call the mid-size, so your S's of your SMEs. So you sort of I guess you want up to £10 million turnover businesses. A lot of activity, so a lot of acquisitions, a lot of mergers, and people realising that they can take more of a market by working together and being part of one venture.
We've seen a lot of companies recently who have been making traditional manufacturing tasks throughout their business, and then seeing acquisition as a way of diversifying their offering, like you suggested. Is that sort of the most popular reason for it, or are we talking about also firms buying turnover, they say, in terms of trying to grow that way?
So I think you've got both. So I was in banking when Rover went bust, and you saw a lot of manufacturing businesses then diversify. And I think that's carried on, so I think you've still got a lot of manufacturers that were in automotive that are now automotive, aerospace, defence, nuclear, but equally you've still got businesses that are very heavily predominantly into the automotive sector, into the JLR supply chain.
And obviously we've just come through, whether we voted in or out, we've obviously come through a Brexit scenario. How's the business landscape looking now? There was obviously a lot of concern going into the vote in terms of uncertainty, and there was a lot of initial bad news, but has that continued?
So we're not seeing it continue. I think at the time, I think we had probably a period of 2 or 3 weeks where I think people were just mulling over the options and seeing what happened when the dust settled. I think we saw a slowdown in conveyancing, oddly enough, people buying houses. But since then it's been all systems go, and if I speak to our corporate team, which is sort of the main indicator for me in terms of what it's like, they've never been busier. All good.
And in terms of your core market strength, obviously Made in the Midlands represents firms across a spectrum of industry offerings. Are you seeing customers more in automotive or aerospace, or a sort of broad spectrum as well?
So I would say it's probably automotive and aerospace are the the main predominant sectors that we operate in, just by the very nature of where we're based and the heavy industry that's around us. We do a fair amount in construction, and we have got clients that range from startups up to your FTSE 100 businesses. So we are catering for everybody's needs, but yeah, it's predominantly aerospace and automotive.
And is the firm getting more involved in a company's sort of day-to-day operations rather than being something that a firm turns to when there's a problem? Are they being more proactive?
Yeah, and I think that's something that, so before I joined, my perception is probably like a lot of other people's perception, is that they're there for the bad days. But actually, a lot of the work that we do is preventative. So it's making sure that your employment contracts are robust so that you never need us to help you in a tribunal. It's making sure that your intellectual property is secured so you never need us to take somebody to court on your behalf. So it's definitely more preventative, I would have thought, but we are there when things go wrong.
I think it's we've certainly seen a sort of increase in historical injury claims coming up from companies in the past, and I guess from the sort of wide range of choice on the market for firms to look for legal support. I mean, how would you say FBC stand out from that?
So I think we're very clear on what our proposition is. So we've been in the Black Country for 200 years. If you read our customer feedback, people use us because we are local, because of the relationships we build. So 2/3 of our client base just keep coming back over and over again. Those that are new to us are generally recommended to us from existing clients. And I think we do things differently. So we do support the sector wider than just legal services. So we have STEM ambassadors, we have enterprise advisors working in schools. We work with the University of Wolverhampton, so we sponsor female engineers through grant them bursaries. Work with the racing team. So we like to think we do things differently to our competitors.
Yeah, I mean, particularly the STEM front. I mean, we're looking at the shortage. You mentioned at the start about the shortage of engineers the sector has coming through for the next generation. Tell us about the partnership with Bloodhound, for instance, because that's one of the areas the firm supported.
Yeah, so I've been a part of Bloodhound, I guess, in that my son's name's been on it, probably for about 5 or 6 years, and the business has been involved now for a year. So it's a fantastic adventure. Obviously, Wolverhampton's got a strong history with land speed records, and there was the Sunbeam Slug that was the first car to go over 200 miles an hour. And what we're trying to do is keep that alive in the city. Come as part of sponsoring Bloodhound is access to all the educational resources that we're hoping to use over the next 2-3 years across schools, whether they're primary or secondary, across the region.
Mm. And the role that women play in the sector becoming increasingly important as the region struggles to find the volume of engineering candidates. I mean, obviously, FBC are sponsoring the Female Engineer of the Year award through Made in the Midlands. Yep. What does the bursary route look like? You said you sponsor some.
Yeah, so that's through the University of Wolverhampton through their engineering faculty. So we're sponsoring one female engineering student. So it's not masses, but one makes a difference.
Given what fees are charged these days, it probably is quite a significant contribution.
Wouldn't like to comment on that. But it's a 3-year commitment on our behalf, we're really lucky. So we get to go and sit with the race team, and you see the passion that these young engineers have got working in engineering, and you can't be anything but enthused by it all. So it's our job to encourage it.
And in terms of your access to Made in the Midlands, obviously you guys have been patrons for a year now, and obviously being well present at the networking events and the best practice visits. Yep. Have you found the interaction?
Fantastic. So I think there's always what's my worry was, I'm very passionate about manufacturing, and I guess there's always my worry was that I would be the person that would be at every networking event and it'd be really, really hard to get everybody else along, but that hasn't been the case. So you'll see if FBC are at a networking event, then I might be there, but more often than not now, not, because demand is such that there's 1 or 2 places per business, and we've got 30 or 40 commercial lawyers that want to be there. And so Julia Fitzsimmons was at the last one. She's an employment lawyer. You've had our intellectual property lawyer go to a couple. The exhibition was a fantastic success for us. Again, it's a slightly different approach for a law firm, so we dressed down, and but the guy, again, 10% of the work, 20 odd, 30 or 20 people wanting to come along. So the engagement's been brilliant. We've been a great way for us to connect with our existing clients, but also a great way to connect with people that don't know what we're about, and hopefully help them on their way, work with them.
I mean, the theme for this series of videos in Meeting Britain's Makers, what message would you have to Britain's Makers going forward for the next 12 months?
Be positive. I think we've got a fantastic manufacturing sector in the country. It's fantastic. West Midlands and the Black Country, it's leading the way. There's a lot of help out there. So when things do start to get a bit sticky or you're unsure, pick up the phone, and certainly, on behalf of FBC, if there's anything you want to just talk about, then contrary to opinion, we don't charge by the minute, so feel free to phone up and have a chat. We'll see if we can help.
That's fantastic. I guess that wraps it up. Neil, I'd like to thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And we look forward to continue to work with you with FBC. Obviously not just a traditional law firm, but one with a sector specialism with a fantastic team behind them. As May the Midlands continues its series on Meeting Britain's Makers, if you'd like to be involved in the channel, please just contact the team on the details here, and we look forward to hearing about your stories as well. Thank you.